but not a hollow mind, unlike the Earth. This shows ESSA 7 satellite photo taken on 23 November 1968. There's almost no cloud cover. The ice fields on the surface can be observed, and the hole in the North Pole can be clearly seen. And there are a number of photographs here as well. And I was just wondering if you were familiar with this book or know anyone that might be.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of this book before. It's possible that there's quite a few books that have been published in America, and as a result, because we're in Australia here, we haven't had the ability to find them. So we're probably somewhat limited in that way in some of the books that we can feel that we have found during our research. But we definitely want to have a look at that and just have a look through and see what sorts of things it has and how it relates to what we've found as well. So, but unfortunately, no, I haven't actually seen that book before, but it sounds very interesting.
It seems, Kevin and Matthew, that of any work that might have been done about the hollow Earth, it was done a long time ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's probably true. But I think today, with our technological advances and knowledge and so on, now we can actually add credibility to the Earth being hollow by using science.
Let's go to our international line. Where are you calling from? You're on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hi there, George. Thanks for taking my call. It's
Sure
Bodo
thing.
from Ancaster, Ontario.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Now, I have two aspects that I'd like to ask about. One is just the well-known knowledge that the deeper you drill into the Earth, and as far as I know, there's a Japanese team that's supposedly going to try to make the deepest entry into the Earth's mantle yet, and I haven't heard any more about that.
Right, and they have been working on that.
Yes, I've heard about that as well, yes.
And the common knowledge about that is that the deeper you go, the hotter it gets. So, and that there's the obvious function of volcanoes with magma coming up and so on. Now, how do you handle that aspect? And the next question will be about gravity, if there's time.
Yes, we've actually, earlier on we explained how we believe the Earth becomes externally dense as the planet grows. But one thing which we omitted to explain here, because we've only got so much time, is what we call the surface effect. Now, basically, the surface effect is the first portion of the crust where the material does actually get more dense as you travel down. And once you reach the base of this surface effect, then from that point onwards, then it starts getting less dense again. And obviously, when you're doing core samples and you're drilling, looking for oil and that sort of thing, you do find it gets much more dense as you go down. But I believe once you get past a certain point, it will start getting less dense again.
And then and then cooler, that you think, do you?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm fascinated. I've heard about this.
There's an interesting point here too, that in some of these deep holes, they've found that gravity reduces much quicker than it should. The zero gravity or center of gravity is assumed to be the center of the Earth, which we believe not to be correct.
Yeah, that's the standard idea, of course. Yeah.
But in deep-sea trenches and some of these boreholes, they've found that gravity actually reduces at a much quicker rate than calculated by mathematicians. Which actually adds credibility to the Earth having a center of gravity much closer to the surface than the center.
I see. Now, let me ask just about gravity itself, if I can.
Yeah.
It follows from what we just said. The standard idea is that an object has a center of gravity central to its mass.
Mm-hmm.
And from what you've been describing, it sounds as though gravity is handled differently on the interior of the Earth, and that would be a little awkward from a classical idea, but it might go a ways towards explaining why UFOs can apparently outdo gravity effects completely from what we know.
Yes, I believe that the same rules of gravitation apply throughout both the inside and the outside of the Earth. I just think that we're not quite sure when it comes to observing gravity within a mass of a planet or the growing of a planet, whether we fully understand what processes are taking place. And of course, as I said earlier on, we actually don't know what gravity is. We can only study the effects. So with that in mind, I think there's probably a lot of things we don't fully understand when it comes to this. With gravity itself, there's a possibility that material or matter can actually shield other matter from gravitational influence as well. So all of these things need to be considered when we look at what gravitational effects there are inside a planet. But I believe that the mass of the shell of the Earth will attract a person or any objects to it, just like it will on the outside, even though there's the mass from the other part of the planet on the other side pulling you in the opposite direction. Because the strength of gravity increases with the square of the distance, then you'll find that the closer you are to something, the much more gravitational attraction there is. And so when you're touching something, it's infinitely more closely to you than something on the other side of the Earth. So I'm sure that the same gravitational laws will work on the inside and the outside of the planet.
Okay, let's go to our first-time caller line. You're on the air with us. Hi there.
Hey, how you doing, George? My name is Lawan Harris from White, Indiana.
Hi, Lawan. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, my what I want to ask is a question. Actually, there's these step formations in Japan. I was watching this on the History Channel, and there's a trench at the bottom of these steps, and they have these precise laser-cut L-shaped angles. That's why they call them like these steps. And at the bottom of this is a trench that goes way far down. I was wondering if any way possible that this could be like a portal to the Hollow Earth.
Well, these sort of things are worth investigating. The problem in the past is because of the skepticism surrounding the Hollow Earth theory, no one's been interested in following these things up. But if they've been cut by lasers, then we'd have to wonder about where the technology came from to produce them. And so this is worthy of investigation. As to whether it may be, see, the sea, after the Great Flood, the sea was much deeper, and a lot of the cities that were on coastal plains were flooded. And so some of these ancient buildings could have been involved with the inner people in their structure. And so it could be merely something like that. But it's very hard to sort of say without further investigation. I think with these sorts of things, it's probably better to sort of look at it and say, this is worthy of investigation, let's look a bit further. The trouble is people don't want to do that, and that's a bit of a shame. If we just get in and have a look, who knows what we might find.
Okay, great. Let's go east of the Rockies. Your turn. Where are you calling from? Hi there.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Where are you calling from?
Oh, yeah. I'm calling from Des Moines, Iowa. My name is Kelvin Robinson. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hi, Kelvin. Sure. Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. I had, one question and then a small story. The first question is a general question, and I'm not sure to which guest it is. I guess they both study the Hollow Earth, so to either one of them. Have you studied channeled information from people such as the High Priest of Telos?
Not really, no. I guess we've sort of come at this, the Hollow Earth, from more of a geological grounding. And I guess one of the reasons for doing that is because we want to try and give the Hollow Earth theory credibility. And to talk about things like channeling and so on, science will tend to discount those things, and then in a way that is discounting the Hollow Earth, and we believe that's wrong. We want to try and show that the Hollow Earth theory is plausible, and we need to investigate it more thoroughly. And so from taking that point of view and looking at things in a geological nature first and using that as our grounding, then I think we're much more likely to have it looked at in a serious light by other scientists. So these are the areas that definitely areas that we need to have investigated, and perhaps other people as well would like to do that too, in light of the Hollow Earth theory. But just from our initial ideas, we thought that if we want to really give this credibility, let's look at things the way the scientists do and try and use their language and put things together so that they can see things in a practical way first. And then hopefully if we can win that battle, then we can do these things on top. And that's the way I'd like to see it go.
And Calvin, also, if eventually we do come to face to face with the people who created us, all these answers will be given us. And as I was saying earlier on to George, I don't think that's too far in the future.
Oh, without a doubt not.
No. Sorry?
I said without a doubt not.
Yep, that's right. So I don't think we've got too long to wait. But what's going to happen is the Land of No Horizon is going to open up a virtual Pandora's box of amazing things. I mean, it may take us into another era of understanding, and it'll blow out in every direction, including channeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
all right, and what was your story, Kelvin?
Well, it was about astral travel. I used to do that quite avidly. And there was one time where I tried to telepathically communicate with that being I was talking about earlier, the High Priest of Telos, and I said,